The European Union says it will provide funding to assist Burundi peace talks in Uganda following an escalation of violence in the country. Now, that announcement came as the European Parliament called for the suspension of all non-humanitarian aid to Burundi's parliament. I spoke earlier with CCTV's Jack Barton in Brussels.
The European Union has announced it will provide $300,000 to Uganda to assist it in hosting peace talks aimed at restoring order in Burundi, where violence has escalated to the point where the African Union is now considering sending 5,000 peacekeepers to protect the civilian population. On Friday, Burundi witnessed the worst bloodshed since a failed coup last May. According to the United Nations, almost 400 people have been killed and more than 220,000 have fled Burundi in the unrest that followed President Pierre Nkurunziza's bid for a third term in office, which he has since secured. The latest killings have prompted protests outside the country. However, Britain has said it's too early to deploy a peacekeeping force, calling the move premature. The UK has called for a compromise or a power-sharing deal between Nkurunziza's government and those opposed to his rule. Until a peace deal is reached, the European Parliament has called for a total freeze on all non-humanitarian aid for Burundi's government. Members of the European Parliament cited growing insecurity, the lack of political moves towards reconciliation, and worsening humanitarian conditions. MEPs also condemned the latest attacks in which security forces killed at least 87 people. Parliamentarians described the killings as random executions. Almost half of Burundi's state budget comes from international aid, with the European Union having committed almost $500 million over the next 4 years. Jack Barton, CCTV, Brussels.
Meanwhile, Uganda's defense minister said Saturday Burundi's warring parties will meet for peace talks again in 7 days' time. At least one party has refused to participate. In the meantime, the United States is stepping up its sanctions to try and get both sides back to the negotiating table. CCTV's Jessica Stone reports now from Washington.
The U.S. government is launching a new round of economic sanctions against 4 people it says are stoking the violence in Burundi, and one of them is the chief of staff of the Burundian Ministry of Public Security. Now, all of this follows the December 11th killing of nearly 100 people in an attack on a military base. The UN says since April, more than 200,000 people have fled the country and hundreds more have been killed or injured. Last month, the U.S. sent a regional envoy to Uganda to try and get peace talks going again. And it says it is ready to deploy troops to stop the violence. American diplomats are also calling on Burundi's President Pierre Nkurunziza and the opposition to lay down arms and come back to the negotiating table to resume peace talks. Jessica Stone, CCTV, Washington.